stories from our recent trip to Vietnam. We're working up for something special for Veterans Day as well. Until then, we'll have several stories we want you to see. You know, it's interesting the number of times we would go someplace and then realize the historical significance of the ground where we stood. President John F. Kennedy said this about the historic photo on your screen, quote, "No news picture in history has generated so much emotion around the world as that one." The photo is of a monk who set himself on fire in Saigon in 1963 to protest the South Vietnamese government's policies against Buddhists. It was taken by Malcolm Brown from the New York Times.
And that was a huge moment in the history and the story of the Vietnam War. It represented much of the social strife that was going on at that time in Vietnam.
The monk in the photo was named Thich Quang Duc. The car you see in the background of the photo, he was driven to the protest in that car. Today, the car is on display in Hue City at a Buddhist pagoda. There are photos on the walls that tell the story of what happened. Chattanooga native retired Army Colonel Jeremy Bowling was on our trip as we visited Hue City.
And that picture is everywhere, from encyclopedias from the 80s all the way up to any website you go to today that you talk about the history of the Vietnam War.
And the photo has shown up several times in American popular culture, such as the cover art for this Rage Against the Machine record from 1992.
And when you look at the iconic photo, you can see the vehicle in the back. So yeah, it was powerful. It was very, very powerful for everyone in the group. And as the group walked up to the site, everyone would say, what is this? What are we looking at? And then you would explain it, and everyone got very quiet because they understood what they were looking at.
One photo on the wall tells another part of this story. As a legend has been told for decades, the black object this monk is holding in the picture is Thich Quang Duc's heart. They say he set himself on fire in the protest, then his body was cremated, but he had a, quote, indestructible heart that would not burn. You can find all the stories from our trip to Vietnam in the Price of Freedom section of our website or on my YouTube channel. That channel is at Josh Rowe. And our part of this trip to Vietnam would not have been possible without the help from our sponsor, Food City.